Hello everybody, I am Jamie Jo and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be chatting about curly haircuts. This is one of my most requested videos and most asked questions. So I'm just going to be giving you my tips and tricks on what to ask for at the hair salon to ensure that you have a haircut that is going to suit your face, suit your hair type, and it's something that you're going to really like. Firstly, I want to just disclose that obviously I am not a professional, but over the years I've just gained a few tips and tricks that I want to share with you that could possibly help you. Let's also remember that everybody's hair type and curl pattern and curl density is different. So what works for me may not necessarily work for you, but I do hope that I can help you out in any way possible. The last thing I want to disclose, which I probably will get a few comments about, is my hair right now. I had my hair cut about 2 to 3 weeks ago now, and I'm definitely super happy with the shape. I am not as happy with my actual curl pattern at the moment. I have been struggling a little bit with my hair over the last few months because I'm currently in a musical, meaning my hair is under a wig cap every night in pin curls, so it's kind of been manipulated in a way that isn't the best for my hair pattern. So I have been struggling a little bit, and not to mention it's also winter, and it's been raining, so I've been having a lot of frizz. But these things are really normal, guys. So yeah, I do not have perfect hair days every day. Today's not a perfect hair day, but I definitely don't think it's the worst hair day. So let's hop into things. Just remember, this is going to be super personal to my hair. So my hair is type 3A hair. It used to be type 3B hair, but things have changed over the last few years as well. Not sure, just this is what it is now. And I have quite fine hair, but it's not super thick. I wouldn't say my hair is thick at all. You know, it's actually quite like thin, but because of the type of hair I have and the haircut, I can achieve this more voluminous look. Let's also remember that each haircut is going to be different. What I personally went for this haircut was wanting to keep as much length possible, because my hair is pretty long right now, whilst adding a little bit more layers into my hair to kind of frame my face and give me more of a rounded shape. It was starting to get really flat at the top and then really puffy down the bottom, so I wanted to just even things out a little bit and give myself a little bit more volume and shape up top whilst keeping as much length as possible. So that's exactly what I wanted when I went into this haircut. Now let's talk about stylists. My hairdresser is my auntie. She's been cutting my hair since I was little, so she really understands curly hair, my hair, what my hair's gonna do when it's cut, and all that type of stuff. So she's really great, and I'm very lucky to have someone that I can trust. I know that is not necessarily the case for a lot of people, so I would suggest doing your research on hairdressers, trying your best to find someone that is experienced with curly hair, and being really specific about what you want, so that you can have the best outcome possible. I did film a little bit of my haircut to show you, but it's quite technical in terms of what my auntie talks about, because she really understands my hair and what my hair needs. But to put it plainly, in really simple terms, is yes, we went for keeping as much length on the bottom whilst getting a nice rounded shape, as I said before. I'm just going to move back. I want you to notice how we got this nice shape, because it's very easy to cut layers and then end up with like gappy, boxy hair. Do you know what I mean? So we went for around 3 to 4 layers. We've got this top layer here. As you can see, this layer is a lot shorter, and this is to really frame my face. Then we went for a few other layers in between, but as you can see, they all taper in really nicely into a nice point. You never want to have a straight cut at the bottom of curly hair to avoid looking like a triangle, but all you really want to focus on getting nice soft points at the end of each layer so that they blend into one another and they can come into this nice shape at the bottom. So when I bring my hair to the front, you can see it's got a nice shape into the point, and also when I take my hair all to the back, it also goes into a nice point. That's what we really focused on in simple terms. Or I want to kind of come up close as much as possible and show you, this is my shortest layer here, this is my next layer here, this is my next layer here, and then we've got the longest part of my hair. So everything is really seamlessly blended into nice rounded points. That is what gives such a nice rounded, voluminous look to my hair. Also, something my auntie does is kind of like twist cut my hair. She also never bluntly cuts hair, she chips into it to ensure you get that messy look that is going to give you a little bit more volume, especially around the top of your head. Now, in terms of a fringe, I actually do have a little bit of bangs going on right now, but when my hair is out, I kind of like to hide them, and then I like to bring them out when my hair is up. So here are my bangs, guys. I kind of did this myself after the haircut because I just felt like doing it. But I wanted to talk to you about what to do and what not to do. So I have a pretty narrow forehead. As you can see, there's not like a lot of space. It's just like quite a small forehead in general. So what you don't want to do is be taking bangs all the way out to the side of your hair, all the way to here. That is just going to create a massive gap in your hair, and it's not going to look full and voluminous at all. So make sure you are taking into consideration how narrow your forehead is, and do not take the fringe wider than how wide your head is, to avoid looking gappy. I like to just keep my fringe really nice and small. This isn't a full heavy fringe at all. This one is kind of something that will disappear in about a month or so, but it's really cute for the moment. Just make sure you're keeping it the same shape as your head, and remember, curly hair bounces up a lot, so do not be snipping your hair here at all when you stretch it out, kind of like top of my lip. But also that depends on how much your hair bounces back as well. Your hair is going to bounce up. So as soon as you cut your hair and get all these dead ends off, it's going to spring up even more. So if you want to keep as much length as possible, make sure you are really telling your hairdresser, my hair is going to bounce up, my hair is going to bounce up. Make sure that they know that, so that they're not chopping off too much. And also remember, you can always go back a second time if you want to readjust something in your hair. You don't need to get it perfect the first time, and I would avoid going too scissor crazy the first time and cutting off too much hair, but rather, you know, being a little bit more sparing with how much you're cutting off, so that if you do dry it and feel like you can chop a little bit more off, then you have that option. So make sure you keep your options open. So I also have a few questions about how often I cut my hair. I don't really have like a routine schedule of like every 2 months I cut my hair. Kind of just when I feel like it's getting a little bit out of shape or it's getting a little bit dead at the ends, I just go and cut it. So I don't really have like a schedule. I'm not too strict about that stuff. I just kind of use my eye. And another thing I want to address is I definitely do not personally recommend dry cutting curly hair, even though some people swear by this, which is fine. If you have a hairdresser that is amazing at dry cutting, then that is fine. My hairdresser isn't necessarily experienced in dry cutting, and also personally I feel like dry cutting can be a little bit more risky because you can end up with just lopsided hair depending on how your hair dried on the day, because curly hair dries different every single time. So if you're going to cut your hair just according to how it dried once, you might end up with completely different lopsided hair. You could end up with gaps in your hair and etc. So I personally do not like to dry cut curls. Another thing I get questions about a lot is cutting your hair at home and tips for cutting your hair at home. And I'm really sorry, but I do not have any. I've never cut my own hair more than like a silly little fringe. So I really am not qualified at all to give you tips on how to cut your own hair, because I do not want to be responsible for you messing up your hair. I would visit Mains by Mel. She is a hairstylist herself, and I think she's got a few videos on how to cut your hair at home, so maybe check that out. Last up, I'm going to show you a clip of my hair being cut with some music overlaid, and then my auntie at the end explaining what she did in a little bit more technical terms if you want to show that to your hairdresser. Right before I show you that, I'm going to give you a little 360 of my hair if you want to show that to your hairdresser as well. Side. Back. Other side.
Okay, so through the back we did increased layering with a traveling guide. Then we brought that over to the front. We cut your bangs, shag, whatever you want to call it. Then brought that through. We did an over direction with the stationary guide, bringing everything up, angling it forward so that when it all comes back, it flows beautifully. So we've got JJ's front happening, a gentle blend through the front, not cutting too far back, otherwise we take out too much density from her sides and she ends up with a very stringy perimeter.
Yeah, looks so good.
And we can see that this is gonna be fun. Lots of fun, lots of movement. Oh, JJ!
Yay! Okay everybody, I hope that you enjoyed this video and I really hope that it has helped you out in any way. Please comment below if you have any other questions and I will really try my best to answer them for you. Yeah, let me know if these tips and tricks have helped you out in any way. And I love you guys. Stay tuned for more curly videos and other videos too. And make sure to check me out on Instagram as well. Thanks for watching everybody.